Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening if you're watching. This is Mirror African Diaspora TV, MAD. Welcome to Biafra Today. This is essentially a program where we discuss social and political issues as well as cultural issues affecting the life of Biafrans home and abroad. In today's program, we're going to talk about the drum of war and the media propaganda as it affects the Biafran struggle of today. The unfolding circumstances such as the establishment of the ESN, the Obibo massacre and the air raid by the Nigerian military in Olu, as well as the continuous abduction of Biafrans, and finally the recent food blockade by the Northerners can be seen as an indication that we are very much at war. To discuss this issue today, I have with me Mazi Andy Emeka Duru and Mazi George in the BC. So, gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
I would like to start with you today, Mazi Andy Emeka Duru. And my question is, are we at war?
Okay. Thank you to our viewers and my dear moderator. I would like to answer in the affirmative. Yes, we are at war. We are already at war. And when we use the word that we are already at war, it coincides with a lot of issues, circumstances, and issues surrounding us as Biafrans, surrounding the whole eastern zone. Every of these situations, every of these issues happening now, and the ones unfolding and yet to unfold, is as a result of all the annihilations Biafrans have been going through. Starting from 1967 to 1970, even at the end of the war, the subjugation, the consistent annihilation of Biafrans still continues. How many of them are we going to count on? We still talk about SARS arresting innocent Biafrans, taking them into custody, killing them, harvesting their organs, and the rest of them. And nobody seems to be saying anything. Do we talk only about the SARS? What about the Nigerian soldier, the Nigerian military, and all the atrocities they've been doing? Worst of it, that of the unnecessary attack that happened at our leader's place, Mazi and Kanu's place. All of a sudden, they created Operation Python Dance or Python whatever. They used a massacring, committing genocide, killing a whole lot of people in both Mazi and Kanu's place and Biafrans all on the streets in Biafra land. How many of them can we talk and how many can we leave? Our leader have consistently shouted and said, I hope the world is listening. I hope the world is seeing. But even at that, everybody seems to pay deaf ears to what is happening. You know, why we are talking about that, the Nigerian media and the whole world media seem to be complacent concerning the yearnings, the agitations, and the cry of Biafrans, and the cry over the killings of Biafrans all over. Why this continues, this present Fulani government have vowed that they will bring to extinction Biafra, which in turn repeating the same killings, genocide, and the annihilations being done within the 1967 to 1970 and continues as it continues. So what are we talking about? If you go through, time will fail me to begin to enumerate them. And I know that my colleague here, in his own time, will be able to itemize some of these things. But time will fail. So if we begin to analyze how far we've gone over time, saying, and even the fact that you call yourself a Nigerian, the fact that you see yourself being part of Nigerian system, is quite irritating and nauseating, because we cannot count enough or heinous incidences Biafrans have been through. So if you ask me, I want to tell you categorically that we are at war. The war of 1967 to 1970 have not ended. The war still continues.
Sure.
Good. So essentially, you are saying that the introduction of ESN, which is actually not a Nigerian, a Biafran army, however, has created a kind of a counterpart or a power that countermines this continuous destruction of life, or a kind of a power that questions the intention of the Fulani, which is to establish a complete establishment of Fulani Caliphate in the or Fulanization of the whole nation, and as a result of that, they are out there to bring that intention to an end at all cost.
Yes.
Is that what it looks like, if I understand? Because you counted a lot of incidents.
Yes, of course, the ESN was formed to counter the atrocities of these marauders, the Fulani herdsmen. Let me start by echoing the words of my very good friend to say it categorically that we are at war. The situation on the ground. The problem is that the Igbo man or the Biafran man is a godly man. I am proud to say that. So we open our hands to welcome strangers, regardless of not trying to understand the intention of these visitors. We welcome them. They have been dwelling in our midst over a period of time, propagating their agenda, their hidden agenda. We kind of took it to, it's one of those things, bandits come and go, but eventually it's plain before our eyes that these people is out to slaughter, to kill, to displace, to take over our land. Essentially, the farmlands, people or women, old men and women are no longer safe. It is no longer safe to enter the farmlands or across the Biafra land. This time around, across the whole of Nigeria. So it is very, very good now that people, the Yorubas, the original Northerners, the Hausa, the original inhabitants of the land, it is very, very good now that they recognize, they see the situation the way it is. So I want to say that we are at war, and the formation of the Eastern Security Network is essentially to protect the lives and properties of our people, because the Nigerian security formation is a fiasco.
But it seems that has incurred the wrath of the Fulani, if you will, because it's like trying to...
Yes, that is to tell you, it's even good that it's happening that way. It has incurred the wrath of the Fulani. That is to tell you that they never intend, or they will not allow anybody to stop their march to the Atlantic Ocean.
The extent of their intention.
Yes.
It goes a long way to show the extent
what they had in
of
mind.
their intention.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's this analogy, every now and then you beat a child and you tell the child, shut up your mouth. If I hear you make a single noise, you will see what will happen to you. And truly, if the child decides to dare you by making the noise, you double the beating.
Yes.
The child will now then go back to the drawing board in his head and begin to think, okay, this is what this uncle is doing to me, and he will keep quiet and now be watching you. The very day that child will show you the gift of a child, that very day you will say, no, this is no longer a child.
Exactly.
The formation of ESN, hey, that is the best thing that have ever happened to the totality of the Eastern region in this lifetime. So what am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that ESN, the formation of ESN had, in fact, is a total bad luck on the mindset and the plan of the Fulanis in a bid to Fulanize the whole nation. But they got it wrong this time.
Exactly.
Believe you dear me, with the formation of ESN, both our governors, both the governors in the southeast, both the what do you call it, the government, the leaders in the federal system, every one of them, they are in a complete jeopardy because it is a complete decimation, and they never expected such coming.
Okay. Perhaps the difference between the the Biafran War of 1967 to 1970 and today's war as it's unfolding is perhaps that we don't have a kind of a circumstance whereby the Igbos are singled out or the Biafrans are singled out by the Hausas and the Yorubas and kill them. But today we have the the Yorubas also agitating to have their Oduduwa nation, and yes. Most of them has come out openly to say that they will never ever unite with the Fulani to kill the Biafrans or the Igbo Biafrans. So perhaps this is one of the things that is different today. But I think we still have other things that can be seen as similar to that 1967 Biafran and Nigerian war. For example, the issue of media is still eminent. I mean, the one-sided report of the media
sure.
is still eminent.
The food blockade.
Yeah, the food. I would like to hear your point in this issue. The issue is not only that the Biafrans were starved, that were subjected to starvation, especially children and women,
yes.
But also that the media was there preventing, or the British BBC media
giving one-sided account
giving
of events.
A kind of let me just finish. Yes. I mean, they did not only give one-sided account or report in favor of the Nigerian or the federal army, but also prevented the outside world from hearing about the atrocity yes. committed by the
yes.
Britain and
yes.
its allies.
Yes.
So, but what are the media? Are we still in the same situation as in 1967, or is there any difference?
I would say that we are even in a very worst situation. You know, one of the bad side of it is that the so-called BBC has actually established the so-called BBC Igbo. In other words, we are now speaking through the voice or through the mouth of our oppressors.
Okay.
You understand? So it's a very delicate or bad scenario. It's even sad that a number of us who go to BBC to be interviewed or air their views, they don't know the game of mind being played by the media.
They promote their oppressors.
Yes, they go to BBC, sit around and talk whatever they want to say. I mean, it must be in the interest of the British, because they have not established that news outlet to have you insult them or give away their secret.
Or their power.
Their power. So this time around now, the world media has actually played silent over the heinous crime being committed across Biafra land. If the things that do happen in Nigeria were to happen in any other part of the world, it would have been the talk of the town. It would have been breaking news in so many news channels. But you see killing on a massive scale, and then completely nobody is informed. Nobody No, but none of the international media is actually willing to broadcast. So we actually understand that this is British game plan. They have Nigeria as their own kind of plantation, and human beings are being treated like animals, at worst being overdosed or drugged with religion, that we cannot even think for ourselves. We cannot even stand up to say that we cannot take this anymore. We sit around and pray and hope that miracle is going to happen. So this media outlet of a thing is actually a stumbling block. And let me conclude, sorry. We jumped on independence when we got our independence, but there is actually no independence if you don't have an independent media, if you don't have an independent school system, if you don't have an independent economy. So we actually don't have an independent. It was a game of mind.
I think it is interesting what you've just said. I think one could just, it's a statement packed with a lot of indications. Because in your statement, it's clear to understand that the use of BBC Igbo is to the detriment of the Biafrans.
The Igbos themselves, the Biafrans.
Not only because it is a kind of appropriation of the Igbo language.
Yes.
It is an appropriation of the Igbo language, appropriating it by your subjugators.
By your oppressors.
Makes you a kind of being gagged,
yes.
Not able to speak your mind, because you have to see through their own glasses. Right. That's one point. Another interesting point, though, which I find in your statement, is that in as much as the media, the so-called British media, British Igbo, what do they call it? BBC Igbo.
BBC,
yes. It's a kind of borrowed power.
Yes.
Anybody that use it as a kind of outlet, media outlets, to express his feeling or express his problem is functioning on the basis of a borrowed power.
Yes.
Or borrowing power. I mean, it's not you don't have anything if you are borrowed. If you are given out, it's not yours.
It's not our voice.
It can be taken away from you.
This is not our voice. This is not our outlet, news outlet.
I remember Nnamdi.
Please, Mr. Moderator, I would like to add a little bit to what my colleague Mazi had just said, because this is a very wonderful topic indeed. The issue that has to do with BBC Igbo. I tell you, these people are evil and devil's advocates.
Devil's advocate.
Complete devil's advocates that have come. Their sole purpose, the sole purpose of establishing BBC Igbo is to further subjugate, annihilate, and bring down every thought and plan of an average Biafran. No wonder you see Mazi Kanu, our indefatigable leader, every now and then talking about the media.
Yes.
The role of the media. The role media keep playing. Right from, the center point of this issue today is, are we still at war?
Yes.
More of this war is now being fought on a media platform.
Yes.
And
media war.
What are these media platforms? Right. The media platform, BBC Igbo, is heading every one of them, yes, because they are British instituted media to further
project the British agenda.
And it's working for them.
Yes.
Because there are so many of our people, they just get 1, 2, 3, 4 number of persons, equip them, give them some money and all that, and they send them out to go and evangelize their evil.
You see, this very thing is far beyond an average mind, the mind of an average Biafran. There are people, well-educated men, who
go there.
We call social engineering.
That go there to give talk and give interviews, right?
I mean, I'm talking of those of them that sit around, they sit back, watch the society, and then they program or try to program the mind of the populace. This is what we call social engineering. These are scientists, these are doctors, these are technocrats who know how to maneuver people's way of thinking. Don't forget, we had BBC in Hausa way back.
Even before the formation of the BBC Igbo.
No. Long time ago. BBC Igbo was that of yesterday. And they formed it. It was actually when the Biafran started agitating. It was yesterday when Biafran started agitating. Now, this is kind of to present a face or a picture. Probably we are part of them. Let me give them a voice. Now, that voice they are giving us is actually we speaking through their mouth. And we dare not kind of insult them. You see, in one of the media interviews the other day, I don't know which of the channels, a lady was being interviewed, and the lady was kind of talking the incompetency of the presidency. And and I claim the journalist.
The anchorman there was
telling him,
trying to play more.
Okay.
There are times we need to do away with all this.
The interesting thing there, though, is the one-sidedness or the underrepresentation of. I mean, this is a media outlet. It's not expected from a journalist that you'll be able to, emphasize on everything that happened.
Sure.
But
to balance the argument.
It is. I mean, it's just like the doctors will have the oath to help everybody who is ill, irrespective of his color or whatsoever. It is the first work of a journalist to be objective, of a journalist. Sure. And everyone who is a journalist knows that hence you're objective, you try to balance the discussion.
The narrative.
Yeah. But unfortunately, for example, the case in Olu, there was a discussion where the BBC will actually say that everything is correct and there is no problem. Meanwhile, there was this air raid, and it's quite disturbing. So if you look onto things like that, then you'll be forced to ask the question if this is actually a media outlet that is there to represent the folk, or is it a propaganda mechanism to bring the Fulanization cause in progress or in process. So
sorry, please, moderator. You just made from your analysis here something very striking. Please don't forget, and let's not forget in a hurry. BBC Igbo is playing the card. This BBC media Igbo media platform is playing the card of the Britain.
Yeah, sure.
In our land. You cannot beat a child and still ask that child not to cry. And that's what they are doing. They will come, they do everything happening in Biafra land. None can be showcased anywhere. Thank God for the emergence of Mazi and Kanu. Yeah. I say it with no apology to any, very sorry, to anybody. But with the advent of, or with the formation of this ESN by Mazi and Kanu, status quo is beginning to maintain.
Okay. I want to maintain the media aspect of the discussion, because I think it is very important to answer the question whether we are at war or not.
Yes.
Apart from Nnamdi Kanu, who has vehemently, protected the image of a black man. That's the
you're correct.
If you will. There is no other strong media outlet that is presenting the case of the Biafrans. I would say, apart from Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and perhaps Simon Eba, you don't have any other strong voice out there representing your plight, bringing it to the world. So I see the war still on a kind of one-sided war, because these people, they have their military and they have the mechanism to go and abduct your women, rape them even on chain, on chain in Abuja, where they are kept in the prison. And you have
pathetic.
the British, what's it called? This woman that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu continues to mention, her name bitterly.
Katrina.
Yeah, she doesn't report this case, and it's a kind of an uncanny. I mean, it's a repetition of the circumstance in 1960s. I call it uncanny because it's quite striking that something, the way it was during those days in 1967, it seems the same thing is playing out again.
Let me say something.
And yes,
it's high time we, as Africans, as Biafrans, as Igbo men, understands that what we see as relief package from the British is what they give us before the camera. But behind the camera, their stealing goes on. They live on looting and stealing from poor people or poor countries. So this media warfare is one of their games.
And it's their strength.
Yeah, of course.
Of
course, they project the image or the narrative which they want people to understand or to believe. Now, it's also very, very important we admit that the warfare the dynamics has changed. It's high time we begin to tell our own story. Otherwise, if you leave it to your opponents, to your aggressor, they're not going to tell it the way you want. They cannot, a slave master can never facilitate the freedom of the slave.
Yes, I want to direct this question to you. The Igbo Biafrans are very much involved in trade, and in the whole West African countries, I think they are the champion in trade, but they are underrepresented in the issue of media. Now, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu continues to cry about the effect of the Yoruba media propaganda and how they contribute in the outcome of today's
program. In the lies.
Yeah. So, what do you think? I mean, it's not just talking about it. We want solution. What do you think should be the solution? Because you are not in the media, then you have nothing to do actually, because it's about narrative, and who controls the narrative controls the strength. The Romans understood it very well, and even Napoleon understood it very well. The so-called invention of mobile we use today started with the invention of the phonograph, and all those things, they were used effectively, efficaciously for the dissemination of information, yes, and dissemination of the military information. That's where we come to use the walkie-talkie, to use the walkie-talkie that was used to save a lot of people during the real Titanic crash in the sea. So the issue of information and how it's utilized,
it's been controlled.
The Britain, they are aware of it. Yes. So now we are fighting war with those that have been there many years ago. How do you think you are going to defeat these people?
Okay, this is a very, very, very interesting question. I want to start by, I don't know. I feel I owe a whole lot. I feel I owe a lot of allegiance to Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. Whenever I don't feel like making any statement without mentioning his name. I don't feel like making any statement without mentioning his name. This issue, this media war you are talking about, and the rest of them, talking about the Yoruba media trying to, obscure and cover up some issues, events concerning people and all that. Before Mazi Nnamdi Kanu came and became the only voice in the wilderness, crying, "These are my people. Please, they need to be saved." Even at that, the media have decided never to showcase our case. And when we say it is time for us to fight our case, what are we talking about? Thank God for the internet world. Today, my 11-year-old son can get just his phone, the phone I bought for him, just get the phone, pressing, and come and tell you, Papa, look at where the world is heading to. Look at where it is. You know, every of these things, so many of us, because the majority of the Biafrans goes into private businesses, spare parts, selling of this and the rest of them. Even those of us who decided to go academics after studying, we put our stomach in the front first. We are not interested in these things because formation of a formidable media outlet.
It's a long-term project.
Not take, and it's a long-time project.
It's a long-term project.
But we not take an average 3-4 Igbo men, if they want to.
If they want
say,
yes.
From today, we decide we are going to have our own media outlet that will speak for us in the whole world. I am telling you, it will be achieved. But the truth of the matter is, why is this thing still dragging left, right, and center? Why is it still dragging? It shows that the sinister card of the Britain is working perfectly through the Fulanis. The British people, they came to our land, brought Bible to us. I am a Christian and I'm a child of God, and I make do to say it anytime. Told us to pray. While we're praying, open our eyes, they are stealing our things. At the end of the day, they went to the Fulanis in the far north, who are Muslims, who don't believe in the same concept of godliness with them, and told them, come and rule over these people because they are too intelligent. This intelligence God has given us, as even the Jews of Africa, with nothing is going to erode it. And sorry, my dear moderator, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has done a whole lot of work by waking. I can tell you today that 60-70% of average Biafrans that were in slumber are now waking up. And with the advent of our phone and handy, we can make the world hear our story.
Now, the reason why I asked about how we can achieve the Biafran despite all this media,
to have our own
upper hand of the British is because you have a lot of people in the Biafran land that are not actually aware of what is going on, that there is war today.
A lot of them.
A lot of them. They still don't conceive the happenings today. Conceive the happenings, the unfolding circumstance as a situation of war. And if that is the case, then it's very risky because it's better you are aware of the circumstance in which you are, then you have more, you understand how to approach
we are on course. I want to assure you that we are on it.
So let me just mention this. There is a lot of people are still, there are news and reports that a lot of people are being abducted by the Nigerian military. And you still see people going their daily business as though it's not, until you are the next person that life was abducted. But it's not, war is never fought that way. You should be conscious of your environment.
The problem is that we have been as a people, torn apart. So every man is thinking for his own, for his immediate family, and things like that. As a people, we have been torn apart. And that is one of the greatest achievement of Nnamdi Kanu. We must give it all to him. This sensitization, this togetherness he's preaching among one people is gradually coming back.
For time purposes, please, I'm sorry, I will I've cut you short there. To make this thing, we're almost at the end of this discussion today. What I want to hear from you guys is, because there is the possibility that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu might see our video one day, and I think he deserves much kudos and commendation to what he has been doing. What can you say? Just say it to the camera so that if he perhaps see your your video, he will also get a kind of information or understand that there are people out there. I mean, of course, he knows that, but that you comment his work.
Yeah, you see.
Wow.
You see, as you're just saying it, my face got brightened, and I am so glad. Like we usually sing in this song, I am glad when they say, "Let us go into the house of the Lord." I am glad whenever a name, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, is mentioned. You know, so many people see him as so many things. Some people see them as Jesus of their time. Some people see him as Messiah and all that. It depends on your mindset. It depends on what you see him as. But me, with my level of educational prowess and understanding, coming to love somebody like Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, oh my God! When I sit in the classroom of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I become wiser. I learn more, and I am proud to make bold that my generation will know about that name, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I raise my cap for him.
Yeah. So I want you to say that you have 1 minute to say something.
Yes. Being part of this discussion. Actually, no matter what anybody can say about it, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu has done a lot to the Igbos, to the Biafrans, and indeed to the black man. You see, the sensitization, the awakening, making us to realize that we have a problem. Because we have been so much mesmerized that we no longer recognize that we have a problem.
Feeling too comfortable.
You understand? People are just comfortable in their state of discomfort.
Pathological, actually.
Yes. So, the man has been, a prophet of the time.
I tell you.
People generously received him as the Messiah of the time. And as I will always say, this was exactly how the name Jesus, started his revolution against the Roman occupation.
Injustice.
So Nnamdi Kanu could be likened to Jesus of the time. I salute you, my dear brother, and I salute every Biafran. And I'm saying that our freedom is very soon. This time around, not like the concocted freedom they gave us in the 1960s.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
So, thank you, viewers. We are almost, we are at the end of this program today, and we please urge you guys out there to subscribe to our video so that we continue to disseminate this very noble, wonderful message. And in as much as you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, then we'll be able to, broadcast. And we believe that you are out there listening to what we say today. We need your subscription. Please subscribe to our YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. Have a wonderful weekend. Bye-bye.